Welcome back to Mr. DuPage's classroom. This lesson is for my Algebra 1 class. It is 3.4, Proportions and Percents, Day 2. Questions 1 and 2 are review, so why don't you go ahead, take some time, give those a shot. Let's see how you can do. Alright, number 1, the first thing we're going to do is cross multiply. I'll end up with 2x is equal to 40. I want to divide by 2, x would equal 20. Okay. The next problem, remember that if I have like x minus 4, x plus 4, something along those lines, then I need to put that in parentheses before I cross multiply. That would get me 6 parentheses x minus 4 is equal to 8x. I need to distribute. That would be 6x minus 24 is equal to 8x. I'm going to subtract by 6x. Be negative 24 is equal to 2x. Now I divide by 2 on both sides, and x would equal negative 12. Okay? Hopefully you did pretty well on those. Those are review. Now let's talk about proportions from story problems. It costs $4,824 to pave a 68-foot long driveway. How much of the driveway can you pave with $3,000? What we're going to do here is we are going to have something along the lines that you want to have the same units in the numerator and the same units in the denominator. The two units we're looking at here are money and distance. So if I put both the lengths in my numerators, the other units I need to deal with is the money. I could put both or the same amount of money or the amounts of money in the denominators. Or you could do it where the money is in the numerator and the length is in the denominator on both sides of the equal sign. Either way, it would come out perfectly the same because we are going to cross multiply. So it says it costs $4,824 to pave a 68-foot long driveway. So I could do 68 over 4,824 would be equal to, when you see how much of the driveway, that's going to be our variable. We don't know how much it's going to be, so we're going to have to use x for that. Remember, that's the length of the driveway that we can do for $3,000, so we're going to put x over 3,000. The right side is everything after how much. The left side is all about the initial, or the 68-foot long driveway. From here, we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. When I multiply 68 by 3,000, I'll end up with 204,000 is equal to 4,824 times x. Divide by the 4824, and I would end up with x equals about 42.29 feet. When you do round, make sure you use the squiggly equal sign. That means about. Okay? The next problem, you are in New Zealand having dinner. Fish and chips for you and your friends cost $26 New Zealand. If $1 US is equal to $1.31 New Zealand, how much is dinner in the US if it costs the same? Okay, so let's see. What we would want to do is the US dollars over the New Zealand dollars is equal to the US dollars over the New Zealand dollars, or you could do the New Zealand dollars over US is equal to the New Zealand over the US. Just remember that in your numerator you need to have the same units, and in your denominator you need to have the same units. Okay? So if fish and chips for you and your friends cost $26 New Zealand, and if $1 US is equal to $1.31 New Zealand, what you would do is say we're going to use the US over New Zealand proportion. I would take 1 over, that's $1 US, right? So that's going to be over our New Zealand, which would be $1.31, because those two work together. It would be equal to, how much was the total dinner in the US? We do not know, so it would be x over the $26. Okay, I'm going to cross multiply. That would get me 1 point. Sorry, I do not want to do that. I like to keep what's in the numerator in the numerator. So 26 would be equal to 1.31x. divide by 1.31. And I would end up with X is about $19.85. Okay? All right. Now, you are planning a trip to Montana. The scale on your map says that 2.5 inches equals 350 miles. If you have to travel 11 inches on the map, how far do you really have to travel? Why don't you go ahead and take a shot at number 3 on your own. Go ahead, pause the video, give it a go, and come on back. Let's see how you did. Remember, our first step is that we want to have the same units in the numerator as we do in the so the same units in the numerators, then the same units in the denominators. So if I do inches in the numerators, I would have to do miles in the denominators. You could have also done miles in the numerators and inches in the denominators. Completely up to you. It should work out the same no matter what. So the scale on your map says 2.5 inches. Well, I could have 2.5 inches. Whatever that 2.5 inches is equal to will go in your denominator, so 350 miles. Then it says we have 11 inches on the map. How far? Well, 11 inches needs to go in the numerator because we have both inches in the numerators. And an X would go in my denominator because we need to know how far. When I cross multiply, I would end up with 2.5x is equal to 3,850. I'm sorry. 3,850. From here, I can go ahead and divide by 2.5. So X would equal 1,540 miles. All right? Hopefully at this point you're getting a pretty good feel for how to set up these proportions and to solve them. The solving part should really be review for you. It's really just how to set them up. Okay? You're looking for a present for your favorite math teacher. Hopefully that's me, because that should be your only math teacher right now. You find the perfect gift, but it costs $1 or $165. It's on sale at 45% off. How much will a gift cost with 7.5% sales tax? So the first thing what we want to find out is what is 55% of $165? Because if it's 45% off, 100 minus 45 would be 55%. That's what is left over, right? So how we set these up is it would be is over of is equal to a percentage over 100. Okay? So what is 55% of $165? Do we know what the is? In this case, no, we don't. So we're going to make X where our is was. And for our of, we would have 165. It would be equal to, do we know the percentage? We do. It is 55. And we put that over 100. From here, we need to go ahead and cross multiply. So I'd have 100x is equal to 9,075. Divide by the 100. And x would equal about $90.75. Now that we know that it would cost without sales tax about $90.75, okay, what is 7.5% of $90.75? Okay, so again, the is and the of. Well, I put the is in the numerator on the left. Do I know what the is at this point? No, I do not. So it's an X. It's of $90.75, so I'll put that in the denominator. I do know what my percentage is. It's 7.5% over 100, just because the reason why we put that over 100 is 100% is the highest that a sales tax could go or a sale price would go. Okay, go ahead and cross multiply. It would be 100x is equal to 680. Be 680.625. Okay, divide by 100, and x would be about 6.85 $2,981. Now, I need to know what the total cost is. So my cost before sales tax was $90.75. My sales tax is $6.81, so I would take 90.75 plus 6.81. Do a little math here. We get 6,517, $97.56 would be about my total cost. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the back. Percent, proportion. Again, this setup here is just talking about our is of percent and 100. So in the top left, we always put our is. In the bottom left, or our denominator on the left, we always put our of. The numerator on the right is our percentage over 100, because again, 100% is the max we could have. What percent of 60 is 12? In this case, what do we not have? We do not have our percentage, but we do have our of, and that is 60. We do have our is, so that's 12. What we do not have is our percentage. So instead of writing a percentage sign like I just did there, we can go ahead and just make like an x, make a variable, put it over 100. We're going to cross multiply. So this would be 1200 is equal to 60x. I'm going to go ahead and divide by 60 on both sides. And x would equal 20. X would equal 20. What are we looking for? Well, it's a percentage, so make sure that we put our label. Okay. What is 45% of 30? What do we not have out of our three pieces up here at the top? We do not have our is. So we can go ahead and make a variable where the is would be of 30. So we do have our of. We do have our percentage, which is 45 over 100. Go ahead and cross multiply. This would be 100x is equal to 1,350. I'm going to go ahead and divide by 100. So x would be about, we don't even have to do about at this point actually. It would be exactly 13.5. I do not need a label on this one because we are not looking for the percentage. Okay? If you're looking for a percentage, then you would need to label it. 30 is 25% of what number? So in this case, what are we looking for? We are looking for our of. So we do have our is, which is 30, over, we do not know our of, so we need to use a variable there. We have our percentage, and that's over 100. Go ahead and cross multiply. We would get 3,000 is equal to 25x. Go ahead and divide by 25. Divide by 25. X would equal 120. Again, we don't need a label on that one because we are not looking for the percentage. Every time you're looking for the percentage, you would need to put percent behind it. But if it's just the is or the of that we are looking for, then we do not need a label. Number 4, what percent of 96 is 3? So our is would be 3. Our of would be 96. We are looking for our percentage, so we need to put a variable in that location. Over 100, cross multiply. This would be 300 is equal to 96x. Go ahead and divide both sides by 96. And our answer would be x is equal to 3.125%. Okay? What is 250% of 15? So again, we're looking for our is. Put an x where the is would be. 15 is our of. 250 is our percentage. That's over 100. Go ahead and cross multiply. We'd have 100x is equal to 3,750. Go ahead and divide by 100. Divide by 100, and x would equal 37.5. Again, that is not a percentage, so I do not need to label it. Okay? Last one, 55 is 110% of what number? Here, what are we missing? We're missing the of. So I'm going to go ahead and put 55 in where my is would be. Put a variable where my of would be. 110 is our percentage over 100. Cross multiply. We would end up with 5,500 is equal to 110x divide by 110, divide by 110. X would be equal to 50. All right, that is our lesson for today. What you should be able to do at the end of this lesson is go ahead and take a story problem, be able to write a proportion and solve it. The other thing that we did in this lesson is to be able to make a proportion for percentages. Remember that on the left side it would be our is over our of is equal to our percentage over 100. If you feel like you are struggling with any parts of those, please make sure you ask some questions, and have a great day.